The first time Elvis told me I was out of his league, I laughed. The last time he said it, I was standing in front of a mirror, crying because I no longer believed I was beautiful. But the worst part was not what Elvis did to my confidence. The worst part was the message I received 3 months after I left him. It came from the woman I thought he had cheated on me with. And the first line said, "Rose, I know you probably hate me, but there is something Elvis never told either of us." I stared at that message for almost 10 minutes before opening it. And honestly, I wish I had never read what came next. But before I tell you what she said, you need to understand how I met Elvis. Because if you had seen us in the beginning, you would never believe how our relationship ended. When I first met Elvis, I honestly thought I had finally found the kind of man women prayed for. He was calm, kind, and incredibly attentive. He listened when I talked. He remembered small details about me. If I mentioned that I liked a particular snack, he would show up with it a few days later. If I had a bad day, he was the first person I wanted to call. And the way he looked at me made me feel beautiful. I still remember the first time he told me I was out of his league. We were sitting in his car after dinner, and I was laughing about something silly. Elvis just looked at me for a few seconds and said, "Rose, do you actually know how beautiful you are?" I laughed and told him to stop being dramatic. Then he shook his head and said, "No, I'm serious. You are completely out of my league." I thought it was sweet. I thought he was insecure. I thought maybe he was just a man who could not believe someone like me had chosen him, and I loved making him feel wanted. I loved reassuring him. I loved telling him that he was more than enough for me. At the beginning, Elvis made me feel like the most beautiful woman in the world. And that is why I did not notice when everything started to change. It did not happen suddenly. There was no big argument, no dramatic moment, no day where I woke up and realized Elvis had become a different person. It happened slowly, so slowly that I kept making excuses for him. The first time I really noticed something, I had bought a new dress. I was excited to wear it because I had spent a long time choosing it. When I came out of the room, Elvis looked at me from head to toe. Then he said, "Are you sure you want to wear that?" I laughed and asked him what he meant. He shrugged and said, "Nothing. I just think you could look better." I remember standing there and looking down at the dress. Then I looked back at him. I asked if he was joking. He smiled and said, "Why are you so sensitive?" I was only saying, "I changed the dress." I told myself I was not changing because of him. I told myself I had simply changed my mind. But deep down, I knew exactly why I did it. A few days later, I was eating dinner when Elvis looked at my plate and asked, "Are you really going to finish all that?" I stared at him. He immediately laughed and said, "I'm just asking." I laughed too, but something inside me became uncomfortable. After that day, I started paying attention to how much I ate. I began wondering if Elvis was watching me. I started eating slower. Sometimes, I would leave food on my plate even when I was still hungry. And when I looked at myself in the mirror, I started seeing the things he had mentioned. My stomach, my arms, my face. Things I had never hated before suddenly became problems I needed to fix. Then the comments about my body became more regular. Elvis would say, "You know you used to be slimmer, right?" Or, "Maybe you should start working out again." Sometimes, he would just look at me and say, "You look a little bigger." And whenever I got upset, he would say the same thing. "Rose, why are you so sensitive?" I started believing I was the problem. I thought maybe I was becoming difficult. Maybe I was too emotional. Maybe I was simply taking his jokes too seriously. But the jokes were changing me. I stopped wearing certain clothes. I started checking myself in the mirror before leaving the house. I would stand in front of the mirror and turn sideways. Then I would pull at my clothes and wonder if I looked fat. I began comparing myself to every woman we passed, and I hated that I was doing it. I hated that I had become so insecure. But I never stopped to ask myself who had made me feel that way. Elvis still acted like he loved me. He still bought me things. He still held my hand in public. He was still kind to other people. And that made everything even more confusing. Because how do you explain that the man everyone thinks is sweet makes you feel worthless when you are alone with him? If I told my friends what was happening, I knew what they would say. They would probably laugh and say, "Elvis? No way. He is so nice." So I stayed quiet. I kept everything inside. And then Elvis started making me question my own memory. I would remember a conversation clearly. I would remember the exact words he used. But when I brought it up later, he would look at me and say, "I never said that." I would tell him exactly where we were standing. I would remind him of the conversation, but he would just shake his head and say, "Rose, you are making things up again." At first, I thought maybe I was actually forgetting things. Maybe I was too emotional. Maybe I was imagining problems that were not there. There were nights I would sit alone and question my own mind. I started apologizing even when I did not know what I had done wrong. Sometimes, I would say sorry just to end an argument. I did not even need Elvis to ask for an apology anymore. I would apologize before he had the chance to blame me. And the strangest part was that I thought this was what love looked like. I thought relationships were supposed to be difficult sometimes. I thought I just needed to become a better girlfriend. Then Elvis started controlling little things. What I ate, how much I ate, what I wore, and even things I never expected him to care about. One day, he actually asked me how many times I had brushed my teeth. I looked at him and said, "What kind of question is that?" He laughed and said he was just curious. But I remember thinking, why am I being questioned about everything? Still, I stayed. Because I was still in love with the man from the beginning. The sweet Elvis. The Elvis who told me I was out of his league. The Elvis who made me feel beautiful. I kept waiting for that man to come back. I kept telling myself that maybe he was stressed. Maybe he was going through something. Maybe if I was more patient, things would become normal again. I had no idea that while I was trying to save our relationship, Elvis was already giving pieces of himself to another woman. I first suspected something because of his phone. Elvis had started turning his screen away from me. He would suddenly become busy at night. There were times he would be sitting right beside me, but emotionally, he felt miles away. I asked him if something was wrong. He told me I was being paranoid. Then he said, "You have become so insecure." I remember those words because they stayed in my head. I sat there thinking maybe he was right. Maybe I was jealous. Maybe I had become the kind of girlfriend nobody wanted. Then one day, I found out. I saw something I was never supposed to see. And suddenly, every strange moment made sense. The late nights, the hidden phone, the excuses, the way he smiled at his screen. The woman he had always told me was just a friend. I remember staring at the evidence for a very long time. I did not cry immediately. I just sat there, completely numb. I kept asking myself one question: how could you do this to me? When I confronted Elvis, I expected him to apologize. Instead, he started explaining why our relationship had become difficult. He told me I had changed. He said I was always insecure. He said I had become too emotional. Then he told me that things between us had not been good for a long time. I almost laughed, because I wanted to scream, "You made me feel insecure. You spent months criticizing my body. You made me question my own memory. You made me feel guilty for being tired. And now you are asking why I am not confident anymore." But I did not say any of that. I was too broken. I just looked at him and realized that I had spent months trying to become the woman he wanted, while he was busy looking for someone else. So I left. I blocked Elvis everywhere. I blocked some mutual friends because I did not want anyone bringing his name back into my life. For the first time in months, I had peace. It was not easy. I would wake up and hear his voice in my head. Sometimes, I would look at myself in the mirror, and still see the woman he had made me believe I was. But I kept trying to heal. Then I heard that Elvis had gotten into a relationship with the woman from his university, the same woman he had told me not to worry about. When I found out, I honestly just laughed. I thought, good luck to her, because I knew exactly what kind of man Elvis was. But months later, I found out he had cheated on her too, and this time, something happened that I never expected. The woman he cheated with found me. At first, I thought she was going to insult me. I thought she hated me. I almost ignored her message. But then I read it again. Rose, I know you probably hate me, but there is something Elvis never told either of us. I stared at the screen. My hands were cold. I did not understand what she wanted from me. I finally replied and asked her what she meant. She took almost an hour to respond. Then she started telling me things that sounded painfully familiar. She said Elvis constantly needed reassurance. She said he was jealous of men she had never even spoken to. He would ask her which celebrities she found attractive. He wanted to know who she thought was handsome. He needed to feel wanted every single minute. And suddenly, I understood something about Elvis that I had never understood before. He did not just want love. He needed control. He needed someone to constantly prove that he was worthy. In the beginning, he had put me on a pedestal. He made me feel like I was the most beautiful woman in the world. Then slowly he had torn me down. He made me feel ugly. He made me feel insecure. And when I stopped giving him the constant reassurance he needed, he found someone else. The woman he cheated on me with became his girlfriend. Then he cheated on her, and now she was talking to me. I wanted to tell her everything. I wanted to warn her, but before I could reply, she sent me another message. Rose, there is something else I found out about Elvis. I stared at the message. My heart started beating faster. I asked her what she meant. She replied, I think you deserve to know the truth. I remember holding my phone and thinking that I did not want to open the next message. I had already spent months trying to forget Elvis. I had already worked so hard to heal, and suddenly, this woman was pulling me back into a life I had fought so hard to escape. But then she sent another message, and when I read it, I felt the entire room go quiet. Because the woman Elvis cheated with was not the only woman he had been talking to. She told me that Elvis had been hiding something from me from the very beginning, something I had never suspected, something that made me question every single memory I had of our relationship. I stared at the message for almost 10 minutes. Then I finally typed one question. What are you talking about? She replied immediately. Rose, you need to know who Elvis was seeing before you. I felt my stomach drop. I read the message again, then again, and suddenly, I remembered the first time Elvis told me I was out of his league. I remembered the way he looked at me. I remembered the way he made me feel special. And for the first time, I wondered if I had completely misunderstood the beginning of our relationship. Because the woman on the other side of my phone had just told me something that made one thing very clear. Elvis had not chosen me by accident. He had been looking for someone. And according to her, I was not the first woman he had chosen for the exact same reason. I wanted to know what she meant. I needed to know. So I asked her one final question. Why are you telling me this now? And her answer was the moment I realized that my story with Elvis was not over. Not even close. Because she replied, Rose, I think Elvis is doing the same thing to another woman right now. And then she sent me a name I recognized immediately. And that was the moment I realized that the woman Elvis had been seeing after me was someone I had already met before. To be continued.